and data lakes and all of these amazing things to see how you can do big data analytics. But on the other side, and that's a much longer hat that I'm wearing, is the Center for Democratising Information. So the one really works with large corporates to look at how they lose money on projects and the likes of, and we developed that technology because we realized that in the community-based research we are doing, we just have so many things that is prohibiting our own growth, and that we are not able to give enough people a voice on digital. And although I'm still at times very overwhelmed by some of these things, I do know there are people that know a lot. And as the technology is developing, I'm starting to realize more and more, but you know, it's easier now. So it sounds daunting when people talk about artificial intelligence as this whole idea of a machine that starts having human thought. But on the side of machine learning is really the ability to look for patterns. And the patterns, we need to use machine learning for that at the moment, because the data that we are getting is just too much. It does not matter, and I mean, Shamima is one of the best analysts I've worked with in my entire life. But when you look at the amounts of data coming in, we need help. So you need a human that can look at the data and ask the data the right questions, because the data doesn't tell you anything. You have to ask. And then when you work with people that have a lot of background in data gathering and what we can do with data, then of course it unlocks all of its secrets to show patterns of things that we have never thought of before, that we could not have known before. And that is where the machine learning element of all of this then come in. So I'm just going to quickly tell you about how it made our life much easier. So we started, I'm not going to take you through all of that, I'm going to start it in 2005 with a community-based research project where we were already then looking at these ideas of a thin file client. Now a thin file client, to give you a direct example of what happens, is when we don't have data about people, other people start making decisions for that person. So for example, if somebody lives in Soshanguve, oh, then the interest rate for the home loan just went up. We know nothing. Nobody asked, who is it? Who's the person? What is their background? Nothing. The person lives in a certain area, they must be high risk. You think, surely we cannot do that in the world that we are living in. I love that thing that Shamima just told us about in terms of developing alternative credit scores. And not in terms of over-indebting people even more, but to be more responsible with what we are doing and making sure that a thin file client is not discriminated against because we plainly don't have the nuanced detail of that. So we started off a community-based research network where we used 500 people across the country from 2005 that then started collecting information in the areas that they were living. And what we then do is we analyze that to better understand the background, so that you can start seeing when people do something, so you understand the context. So when people do something, is it negatively or positively affecting the well-being of the organization? And that is when we start realizing the power of the information, where that information starts coming together. And the project runs like an employment project, not like a research project. Because when you cost something, as if it's a research project, it becomes prohibitively expensive.